machines where I live. And it's the same in many other cities. I mean, you think these crooks are here to just take over the power supply and the water supply and jack up your prices? They're here to take control. They're criminals. Of course there's no voting in Austin. So you say, what do? You sue them, you protest them, you point out it's a fraud, you go back to original paper ballots, counted precinct by precinct, and then tallied up publicly. But if you don't face up the fact that many cities are 100% mafia run, Austin, Texas, Chicago, Illinois, New York, Los Angeles, California, I mean, Detroit, these are criminal, 100% devilish enterprises with a bunch of cattle out there. Okay, I'm going to stop right there. Let me just do what I said I was going to do at the very start. Let's see if I can do it. Journalist sues Obama over indefinite detention law. NDAA provision could be one-way ticket to Gitmo for protesters, claims class action lawsuit. Well, yeah, they're already trying to take people's kids outside of law for not taking shots. Here's another one. Romney rattled by Republican rivals. Mitt Romney unnerved in South Carolina debate after being challenged over tax returns and negative campaigning. Yeah, Ron Paul is number 2 right behind him, and Mitt Romney is as globalist as Newt Gingrich or Rick Perry, even worse than Rick Perry. That's hard to say. It's true. I mean, he's a ringer, folks. It's either Ron Paul or nobody. And all you Republicans going, well, I'll go for Mitt Romney. He's going to take a dive like Bob Dole did in 1996. Just watch. Continuing here. Oh, I've gotten through 2 articles. Business group claims Obama creating constitutional crisis over all the different things he's doing. Launching wars without congressional approval, making recess appointments. We never even brought him before Congress. Of course he is. Ron Paul tied with Romney as most electable Republican. Establishment myth that Paul is unelectable debunked yet again. And I hear these local media prostitutes on air repeating that, well, he just can't win. They're not even consciously paid to lie like that. The average cattle brain out there, the average sheephead, thinks that it's cool and trendy to parrot what talking heads say. They watch political shows, and then they think that's real slick and highbrow, and then they go and they parrot what is said and then feel like they're real smart. You know what? I could go get a parrot and train it to talk too and repeat what I say. Here's another one. This is just some of the financial news here. Senator pushes for GMO labeling in Washington State. That is super good news. You have a right to know what's in there. That's just some of the news in that stack. I mean, I'm just randomly picking up one of the stacks here. Look at this headline. U.S. and Iran inch closer to military conflict, The Hill. Here's another one. Somebody's jamming Iranian national TV signals. The Iranian government's announced via Press TV. Saudis are saying, don't worry about Iran. They close the Strait of Hormuz at the end of the month when sanctions are put on them and their gas is cut off. They ship out oil, ship back in refined gas because the West has blocked them getting oil field equipment or refinery equipment to be able to refine it. They're saying they can supply that. Many analysts say that's not true. Look at this article. Healthy 7-year-old girl dies in mother's arms after flu shot. And then it links to the articles that break it all down. The incredible death rates worldwide. It says on the insert it can kill you, but so what? Here's another one. Eugenics in action. 3-year-old girl denied kidney transplant because she is, quote, mentally retarded, she's told. Yeah, in Endgame, in Texas at the state legislature, they asked the head of the state psychiatry board, they say, why are over 2/3 the foster kids on a whole bunch of psychotropics? He goes, they have bad genes. They come from bad gene pools. See, eugenics is the real religion. And as long as you're not aware of the game that's being played with you, you're going to lose. EPA drops jackboot on necks of couple daring to build on their own land. And as a report going to the Supreme Court, Ron Paul talked about it yesterday. You've bought your property, you own it. They just come along and say if water ever stands on your property, anywhere. During a rainstorm, it's a wetland, and they can take control of your land and then charge you for taking your land. Oh, that's actually in the Supreme Court case. You know, you don't just have your land taken. They charge you for the assessment to have it taken. And that ties in with another article coming up here in a moment out of Canada. Medicine of the future arrives in High Street as pharmacy offers pills with edible microchips to help doctors monitor patients' health. Here's another one. The chips that are good for you. Pharmacy selling edible microchips. Here's another one. War on drugs transferred to private mercenaries, including Blackwater. And it breaks it all down. That's an article out of Infowars.com. It also links to, as a source, BBC. Here's some more of the articles that I want to get into. All over the country, thug youth are beating people to death for enjoyment. And you notice it's L.A., Chicago, and New York with their victim disarmament legislation. And the police never can bust anybody or never get anybody in trouble. And the few times they do, the person gets a couple years in jail for beating someone to death. I mean, you come over to my car and try to drag me out, I'm just going to shoot you. I'm going to reach right over and pull up my legally sawed-off shotgun. It's sawed off. It's a bounty hunter, sawed right off to the legal limit. Store-bought sawed-off shotgun, and I'm not going to think. You start trying to break in my car, I'm going to shove it in your face, and I'm going to shoot you with buckshot. Prepare to die. But, of course, that stuff doesn't go on in Texas because they know half the people driving around out there will kill you. These little scumbag cowards, they like beating up old ladies and beating up old men. I watch these gangbangers get out and beat old men to death. They need to have their guts completely stomped out of them. Bunch of scum cowards. All right, I'm done talking about that. Let's go ahead and get to this report right here. It just gets more and more insane. This is being reported on in the Toronto Star. You name it. In fact, guys, pull this article up. It's the headline. Homeowner fined $5,200 for growing cucumbers, plans suit. Now, the same thing's being done in England. The same thing's now starting in the United States. And, you know, you've seen where they say you can't have a garden in your backyard. We have to inspect it because it might be drugs. And, of course, you got to pay for the inspection. Or you can't have a garden in your front yard either because that's objectionable. Even in the countryside, they're now saying this in many areas. Because it's all about control over independent people. It's all about control over people that want to be self-sufficient. Oh, you can't sell Girl Scout cookies. You can't have lemonade stands. We're going to arrest you. You can't be Amish selling a neighbor milk or cheese. It's all about driving people into submission. Now, here's the report. Homeowner fined $5,200 for growing cucumbers, plans suit. A Canadian homeowner, this is not a joke, says there is no way he will pay $5,200 fine in Mission, BC for growing cucumbers in his basement. Lee Grotto, who has lived in the home for 30 years, said he's ready to join an imminent class action lawsuit against the municipality. Grow-op bylaw inspections, reports Sam Cooper at Sports Media News. So what they do is they have the repairmen, the phone company people, the cable installers are all spies, and they come to you and they say, we've got to report you're growing vegetables. They don't even say it's marijuana. And they come to you and they say, we're going to inspect you now. We're going to show you the headline there if you're watching on Prisonplanet.tv. We show folks the headline and then scroll down. And then it goes over it. A number of citizens led by Stacey Groundlock said their homes were illegally searched for marijuana grow ops, resulting in them being slapped with fees and repair orders. Did you hear that? They come in your house without a warrant, and then when it's cucumbers or tomatoes, because it's real cold up there, and a lot of people have greenhouses, you know, in the shed or the basement, they then fine you upwards of $10,000 or more. You're not even going to believe this. But this is the tyranny. This is the evil. This is the oppression. Because criminals run the government. I mean, the government ships in most of the drugs, folks.
Did you ever...
All right, I'm going to go back into this Abbotsville Times report. They've also had similar reports in the Toronto Star and others, papers across Canada. This is happening from the east to the west. But before we do that, remember this broadcast is listener-supported. We are an alternative media institution that is growing and dominating and dwarfing so-called mainstream dinosaur, know-it-all, poser, teleprompter reader, fancy suit media. But when you go to InfoWarsTeam.com and check out the high-quality vitamins and minerals that I personally have scoured the earth, to discover the best products available. When you buy Tangy Tangerine, Beyond Tangy Tangerine, Pollen Burst, Rebound, and other great products there, it also supports this transmission at InfoWarsTeam.com. We also have links to it in the online video bookstore shopping cart at InfoWars.com. You can get all of my films for 70+% off, 18 DVDs, $99.95. Now we're carrying other books and videos like Deliberate Dumbing Down, how they destroyed our educational system by design from an insider whistleblower, the head of policy, Department of Education. We have the incredible False Flag film, Noble Lie, exposing Oklahoma City as an inside job. They're all available at Infowars.com. And we're also running a 15-day free trial right now at InfoWarsNews.com or PrisonPlanet.tv. So you can watch the radio show live in higher res, the higher quality podcast, all of my films, expanded extras, and InfoWars Nightly News. Okay, again, I'm reading this article. We'll put it back on screen out of the Abbotsville Times. And you cannot make up the magnitude of this. Homeowner fined $5,200 for growing cucumbers, plans suit. So they fly over your house and they say we see unusual heat resonance, or they spy on your power bill, and the police are in the article. And it says you're using too much power for, say, 3 people living here. So they come without a warrant, demand to come in, and then never leave when marijuana's not found. They fine you for mold or for water damage. See, they use zoning rules to harass you out of existence and slap. Some of these fines are over $20,000. Listen to this. And this is coming to the U.S. This is now being rolled in. This is the feudalism terrorism system where bureaucrats just feed on us. A number of citizens led by Stacy Goenlock, who we're going to get on the show, said their homes were illegally searched for marijuana grow ops. That's how they sold the law, resulting in them being slapped with fees and repair orders, sometimes exceeding $10,000, all on flimsy evidence. Grado, 67, said he has never grown pot. He said it was laughable. But see, it doesn't matter that pot wasn't found. It's pot, so you're bad. Grado 67 said he's never grown pot. He said that laughable evidence against him consists of pictures of some dirt on the basement wall and a furnace pipe going up the chimney where it should be. Well, that's just evidence. It's upsetting they can do this, said Grado. We were growing cucumbers in the basement because they wouldn't take outside. Groenlock said he was searched in 2009 and hit with thousands in fees and repair orders despite never growing marijuana in his home. A lawyer will probably be filing his civil suit in the next few days, he said. I'm going to the first step forward, he said. And then it goes on to describe it right here in the article. What's worse, inspectors don't even have to find any marijuana. If they find what they deem residual evidence, such as high mold